What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour. You just get rich today, and you can find me on X at Fuzzy Rip and all the socials at Rich.Paiva, doing reviews from Musipedia of Metal and as a Doom Charts contributor. Speaking of Musipedia of Metal, I just finished the review of the new Patriarchs In Black album called Home. It's their fourth record, and I cannot believe that I have both Dan and Johnny on the call with me here to talk about the new record and hopefully a whole bunch of other stuff. How are you guys doing tonight?
Everything is good in Jersey. I know you're more excited about Johnny because I know you were trying to reach out to him.
Oh, please. I'm excited to talk to both of you guys. There's so much stuff that I could talk to you guys about, but I want to start with Patriarchs In Black, which, as I was doing the review for the record today, you guys are just the stuff, the volume of stuff that you come out. This is your fourth full length in 3 or 4 years. Is that about right?
Johnny keeps telling me, Dan, hurry up and write some new songs every day. He's hounding me, man.
It's the quality is just continues to be there as well, which is what I think makes this project so cool. And I think the other thing is, like, a lot of the projects that are out there that use lots of different lead singers, the records can seem kind of scattered and all over the place, where you guys have, especially on this record, perfected kind of making the record sound like one record, kind of flow. So congrats on it. For anybody who doesn't know, you're not listening to my show very much, and this came out on August 15th, and it's killer. And I just want to ask you guys, Dan, to start. What do you think? How did this one come to be, and how is this one a little bit different than the first 3 records?
As you're speaking, I'm thinking about questions I've been getting a lot. Is like, how do you make this cohesive? And I've been keep thinking about it myself, and there's nothing that I know of that we're doing other than the consistency of Johnny and myself. And I don't even understand. I was thinking about this before. I couldn't go to sleep the other night. I'm getting completely off topic as to like why an album has to be cohesive. Because I remember, like, in Hades or Nonfiction, we'd like break down and we go back and people and the engineer would be like, no, you can't do this. The snare drum's going to sound different in this song. And I'm like, why is that the end of the world if the snare drum sounds a little different from one song to the next? So, but going back, now I forget the original question, but how the album come about is we just keep doing what we do. I write and record music up here. I send it to Johnny. He puts brilliant drum beats to it. And then we think of what singer we want to have work on the song. Sorry about my little diatribe. I got completely
I think as the records have gone on, the songwriting has gotten stronger, I think. And it seems like, 4 records deep now, the band Patriarchs In Black has its identity, I think, of what it is. And then it branches off into different things. Like there was definitely some stretching out on this record where you have, some different types of things going on. And which I think is really cool, but it still sounds like Patriarchs In Black.
Absolutely. I would agree with that 100%.
I think we've gotten to a place where it does have its identity regardless of who's singing.
Yeah. You have a sound. And I think as kind of Dan mentioned, writing kind of starts with Dan's sound and the riffs that are coming from Dan. I hear, just from what I'm listening to, and it could just be because of a couple of the singers that you have on this one and you've had in the past, but are you a big Trouble fan when it comes to some of the riffs? I hear a lot of early Trouble riffs coming from you on this one.
I used to love Trouble when I was younger.
I love the album named Trouble, that one.
Okay. All right, fair.
Seeing this, I never really loved his voice that much. It fit, and we actually played with Trouble a couple times in Chicago. Nonfiction did. Do I love the riffs? Absolutely.
I think his voice sounds amazing on songs like Bastards Will Pay and stuff like that. It's actually, to me, Eric Wagner was kind of a derivative only because I got introduced to them first. Blackie Lawless.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That. Wow.
Yeah.
I love Blackie's.
I
love Blackie.
Like when I first heard, I was into Wasp first. So when I first heard Trouble, I was like, wow. And the first song I ever heard was Bastards Will Pay. And I had no idea that it was Trouble until like later on. But as a teenager, when I first heard Eric Wagner sing and he'd sing that song, I was like, wow, this sounds like sounds like Blackie Lawless.
Interesting.
You know, that
Now I
that
Never
raspy.
thought of that.
Yeah. And then what's the record that Trouble did with Rick Rubin?
Rick
What
Rubin.
Psalm?
No, it was
So-
called Trouble, wasn't it?
It was,
That's-
and then
that's the
my
self-titled
favorite,
record?
one of my favorite records of all time
Yeah.
is the one that came after that, which is called Manic Frustration, which is also a Rick Rubin record.
Oh, was
Yeah,
it?
that one.
Okay.
That one was.
I gotta check
was
that one
really
out
good.
then.
Yeah, that one. If you see me on my socials, everyone knows me by the little, like the little face on the album. And back in high school, at Calhoun High School in Nassau County, Long Island, I had a denim jacket where somebody
Uh-oh.
painted that shit on the back. And they're like,
Where in Nassau are you from?
I was from North Merrick, so South Shore,
Okay.
Nassau. So
Yeah.
you know, my family roots are all from Brooklyn and Queens, but obviously they moved me out to the island to.
My father's side, they all went out to the island.
Okay, yeah. So you know how that is.
Yeah.
We could talk about that all day, and I have questions about some of the stuff back in the day, so I'm going to get to that. But for this record, I think my favorite song, and this is because I'm also very partial to Karl from formerly of COC and Lie
There's
Heavy, his new
Trouble,
band.
the Trouble Connection.
Yeah,
also.
there it goes. Yeah, with Legions of Doom and all that stuff. How do you guys know Karl? How did Karl come about to sing for you guys?
So Nonfiction played a show in 1992 down in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we would do this thing. So I was, started Hades, and then I went to Nonfiction. And Nonfiction, I wanted to be the opposite of Hades, where we would literally improvise or do a riff that I had written in the dressing room live on stage. And one of the things we would do is if there was somebody we knew in the audience that we were fans of, we'd ask them to sing with us. So Karl was in the audience that night, and he told us the next COC record was going to be big, but he wasn't going to be on it. We're like, oh man, that's so sad. Why don't you come sing Sweet Leaf with us? So Karl jumped on stage, did Sweet Leaf with us, and then I had no contact with him for many, many years. And a writer from a magazine called Riff Relevant, who I have not heard from since he gave me Karl's phone number, was responsible for hooking us up. But I also bumped into Karl with my old band Vessel of Light, previous to this band, at the New England Stoner and Doom Festival, and I was always a big fan of his voice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I had Karl on. Karl was one of the first people to come on my show, and I didn't know him at all. I just reached out and said, hey, love the the Lie Heavy record that you're doing. Come talk to me. The only thing I didn't ask him about was what happened with COC, because I didn't want my first show to be a guy, being like, what are you, an asshole? Why would you ask me about something stupid like that? So I stayed away from that. But yeah, I love that record. I love that particular song. I'm just looking at the review that I did just to call out a couple of the other songs. So Mark Sunshine, who's in Unita now, if I'm not mistaken, he gets 4 tracks on this record, all 4 really, really cool tracks, and a couple of them were more of the acoustic driven songs, if I'm not mistaken. Right. Tell me about Mark, because I know Unita, I know what they were back in the day, and now I know with him in the band. But how did you hook up with Mark?
Well, I knew Mark from opening up for Hades of Nonfiction. Actually, he had a band. When Nonfiction kind of went in a different direction, and there's the original version of Nonfiction, and then the album that we put out that everybody knows with Alan and Kevin and Mike Christie. But Damon Trotta was the original bass player for the original Nonfiction, and I introduced him to Ed Furman, and they started a band called Systematic, and their singer was Sunshine. So they'd open up for all the Nonfiction shows, and Mike Christie, who was the drummer for Nonfiction, came to work with me for my day job, and he said to me a couple of years ago, have you heard Sunshine sing lately? I said, I forgot all about that guy. What's the band? And he said, he's in a band called Unita now, but he did some other thing with a band called Riot God, and I heard him sing, and I'm like, wow. So Johnny and I think Johnny and I haven't thought about this in a long time. We did the Led Zeppelin cover of the Immigrant Song. Yeah. And we went through like 4 different singers who couldn't hit the notes. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw it to this guy, Sunshine. He's not going to be able to do anything with it. And he comes back, and it's like amazing, and it's amazingly odd and interesting. And I'm like,
you put a really unique twist on it.
everything he does is a unique twist. You know, he's such an interesting guy. He's so smart, and he's become
He's
my
from
wife's
another
favorite
planet.
singer. So, he is, yeah.
He's from another planet.
And we don't know what that planet is, but we're
Yeah.
happy he spends some time on Earth.
All of the stoner guys are gonna stoner doom rock guys are gonna make fun of me for calling it Unita instead of Unita, but that's how I've always known the band. But he's been getting a really good reviews as the singer there because in
He's a
that
monster.
kind of and in that space that record is kind of legendary, the original version of that record. So him stepping in and getting the feedback he is very cool, and his stuff is some of the most solid stuff on the record. I also wanted to call out the one song that kind of brought me back to high school, which is "Ready to Die," which sounds like Biohazard and Life of Agony and all that stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Is that the vibe you guys were going for with that one, or is that just in your DNA and it just has to come out on a record in some capacity?
Yeah. So it's funny. That's not the music Johnny and I would find ourselves listening to. Great guys. Dave Niebuhr did play bass on the first song of the album, but Dave's from Dog Eat Dog. But it's the singer who brings that attitude towards it. You know, he's much younger than us. So, you know, with Johnny and I, like a whole album of that, that's not really what we're going for. But I do kind of love it and limit, you know, a taste of it on every record. I wouldn't want a 10-song record like that. But that's what's so great about Patriarchs in Black. You know, if you don't love one song, maybe it's because of the singer, you know, just fast forward to the next song. So I love diversity. And, you know, we let the singers do their thing. And like I said, only a couple times, I think on the song, you know, the cover songs, we'd be like, nah, this just isn't working, you know. But we really haven't had that issue with any of the originals as far as I can remember. So I'm going to say the singers get a big hand in how the song ends up sounding.
And Johnny was kind of smirking when I mentioned some of the bands that sounded like.
No. Like those are all neighborhood bands. Those are all like, you know, we all grew up together as, you know, like as kids, and, you know, so, you know, there isn't, you know, like the, you know, I think it represents the environment that we came from. You know, it touches on it, even though, like, you know, my background is a lot different than that. You know,
I am looking forward to the new
there is little bits of it in the DNA, though.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the new Bioware record. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I try to reach into my inner Danny Schuler.
And then there's the one song, and I'm looking for the name of it, but it has the guy, the singer from Blackwater Rising on it.
Rob Trainer.
Yes, yeah. That's a new record that just came out that a lot of the people in the scene are really digging right now. How do you know?
I heard they put a record out.
Yeah, I think it came out. I just got it in my
same day
review.
as
I think
ours.
it's 15th.
The song Rob did is called Shadow's Grasp, and Johnny has an interesting story about Rob Trainer.
Oh, let's hear it.
Oh, well, Rob and I know Rob since I was a teenager. We used to play in a band together when we were kids, you know. And then when we started doing Patriarchs, you know, Dan had turned around and was like, yeah, you know, we're going to have this guy, Rob Trainer. I said, Rob Trainer? I was like, I know Rob. I played with Rob in a couple of bands. You know, I played in the first version of Blackwater Rising.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because that started out with, it was like Rob, Kenny, me, and Matt Brown, who were all Seventh Void.
Oh, okay, cool. That would have been an interesting.
And then we split up. Rob kept the name and did his own thing with Blackwater Rising, and then we went and did Seventh Void.
Very
then
cool.
It was cool, like, you know, years later, you know, whatever it was, 15 years later, you know, down the road. Small world, Dan knows Rob and invites him to sing a song on the record, and it was cool, you know.
And the way I got to know them was I was with a magazine selling advertising straight commission, and I learned that if you wrote about some of your accounts, you'd have more juice, and I would also get free concert tickets. So one of the things is bands would write to me and send me their horrible music. And I get a video by a band called Blackwater Rising, Brother Go On. And I put it on and I'm like, well, what do we have here? Like somebody whose riffs I'm actually jealous of. Like and they live in New Jersey. Like, is that possible? You know, like I was so blown away that there was a local
Rob
band.
lives in New Jersey. Rob
Yeah.
lives in New Jersey now. He lived in Brooklyn for years.
Right.
You know, so does the drum. I think Mike still lives in Brooklyn. I'm not sure if he does or not.
Yeah.
The drummer
Yeah.
for Blackwater Rising.
Great guys, great band, really nice guys too. You know.
Excellent. I'll have to see if I'll get them on the show. That would be very cool. And I can't do a Patriarchs in Black interview without asking about DMC being on the record. I assume you guys know him from the neighborhood or in some capacity. How do you guys, did you guys get to work? No, not at all.
There's
Dan knows him.
Rick Hunold from the band Exodus, who I've never met in my life. And he did a solo record where I guess he loves singing karaoke or karaoke, speaking about you need it, unite it. And he did a section of a cover song that had a rap in it, and they just had a beat, and no guitar player could think of a riff. So it just so happens that the guy who was the drummer in that band did our first video for Sing for the Devil. And he said, is there any way you could write a riff to something that somebody's already rapped to? I'm like, yeah, send it to me, you know? So I mean, I literally got the riff, you know, if it was 3 o'clock, I wrote the riff at 3:05, and I was just about to go record it. And I'm like, let me add a second riff to this. And I did it. I sent it to them, and Rick Hunold, who I've never met, fell in love with it. And then we did a video, and I met Daryl, and this is how cool he was, man. He's in there, I believe he's wearing a Motorhead shirt for the video shoot. And I had him a Patriarchs in Black shirt. He's like, oh, is this what you want me to wear? I'm like, no, wear whatever you want. I just want to say, you know, I listened to you when I was, you know, a young kid. I was a fan, you know. And we did the video for that. And then he asked me, he texted me months later. He's like, hey, man, can you write a riff to a drum beat if I just sent you a drum beat? I'm like, absolutely. And I kept saying, man, send me the beat. I come home from Key West Sunday night. I'm like, dude, send me the beat. 6 o'clock, sends me the beat. 6:05, I said, here's what I wrote. And he's like, oh my God, this is amazing. We got to make a song out of this. So we started getting friendly, and now he's sang on each of the last 3 Patriarchs in Black albums.
Very, very cool. Very cool. You have to think, you know, before Anthrax with Public Enemy and, you know, Run DMC with Aerosmith has to be the innovation of this, right? I mean, I know Blondie did all that stuff, but tell me, what am I missing? Where was I not back in the day?
This is so upsetting. So everybody thinks that, I remember once your old manager, Ken Creedy, saying in 1991 that Dan Lorenzo was a day late and a dollar short. He thought I was jumping on the grunge thing when I started nonfiction. And I really wasn't. I wanted to do this when I was in Hades, but the guys were afraid that if we tuned our guitars down that their necks would break. So it's 1987. And I'm in New York City doing the second Hades album, and we're recording where Public Enemy was doing Rebel Without a Pause. And I'm like, this is just great, you know? So some other band walks in, we're recording, and they're called Run DMC. And I'm like, oh my God. Jam Master Jay gets on the drum kit, and I'm like, we got to do a song together. Jam Master Jay looks at me, he says, you can't mix rap with metal. You can't mix rap with metal. Runs out of the studio. My friends in Hades like, you're such an idiot. Why would you mention that? Why would you say that to them? You're such a jerk. And I'm like, I am. I always have these stupid thoughts, you know, pop up into my head. And then a year and a half later, boom, Aerosmith thing.
Friggin' Steven Tyler comes in and steals your shit. I see how this is going. That's not cool at all. So Johnny,
late dollar short. That's funny.
Fighting you from Brooklyn.
I have questions for you, Johnny. First off, I've gone 18 minutes and 52 seconds without mentioning that Typo Negative is one of my 5 favorite bands of all time. So I just want to get that on the table and let you know that Typo will always mean so much to me. It's just such
thanks. I appreciate it.
From the very beginning of when I saw the video for Black Number One, I was both scared and intrigued and stimulated, had no idea what was going on, and it changed my musical listening. So thank you for all that you've done there, and you guys did. I want to talk to you about one of your other new projects, Sun Don't Shine. You probably didn't see it, but last night I posted, I was listening to I got the vinyl from Corpse Paint Records, which
is vinyl?
Yeah.
Let me see it.
I will go grab it. I'll go grab a copy of it. It's very cool. Splatter black. And my buddy Rob got it too. And we both kind of posted it at the same time, and our feedback at the same time was, we love it, but we need more. There's only 4 songs on it, so we're greedy bastards. But and this band seemed to have taken, I think you were called Eye for an Eye, or there were other names that you
I
had.
Am. It was called I Am. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Nobody.
I.
It was called I Am, and then we got into a conversation about how we didn't like the name. Nobody liked it, so we changed it.
So, what can you tell us about that project? Because it's very timely. It just dropped. It seems like the vinyl is a one-off thing. There's singles out there, but tell us about it.
A full-length record, I believe, is coming out in the first quarter of 2026.
Okay.
And it really started out, Drew, the guy, the friend of ours, who's basically, he's a one-man army of Corpse Paint Records. I met him. He was working for Danzig.
Okay.
He was a merchandiser for Danzig, and we were on tour. And Kenny was on tour playing for Glenn on this particular tour when we met Drew, and we became fast friends. And after the Danzig tour, Drew came out and worked for Typo Negative, and even going back then, he was always saying, it'd be cool to get you guys in a room with like Kirk and Todd, from Crowbar and stuff. And we've been friends with them. I've known Kirk for shit. I met Kirk over 30 years ago. And every time we crossed paths and stuff, we're always great to see him. We always had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, it was a, drinking buddies kind of thing. But we never worked together, and Drew had concocted the plan to put us in a room. And we got together in Florida. This is about maybe like 2 years ago at this point. And Kirk and Todd were there. Kenny flew in. And I flew in. And Drew picked me up from the airport and literally took me to the rehearsal studio. We worked on the song, came up with an arrangement and stuff, came up with some ideas. And then the next morning we recorded it. And then I went somewhere. I flew somewhere else. I was out of there right after I was done my tracks. And then we got together a few months later down the road, we got together in New Orleans. And since then, we've been getting together every so often. We'll get together. We'll stay for like a week. The last time we were there, the band was there for like a month, and just working on new music, and shooting videos and stuff like that, and
cool.
doing social media stuff, and while everybody's together. And the way it was working out, we would do we'd record like a song a day. In the morning, we'd show up in the morning at the studio. Kenny and Kirk would have some ideas or whatever. We'd put it together, come up with some kind of arrangement for the song, have a skeleton for the song, and by late afternoon, evening, I would do a drum track for the song, and then the next day we do the same thing, and then after all that was done, then the guys would work on it, do the guitar tracks and vocal tracks, later on. But at least we had the foundation of the song. We were doing a song a day. And now we're at the point we have an album's worth of material. So the whole record, the full length, will be coming out. I believe last I heard, like January of I heard September. That's not happening. I was told September of this year. That's not happening. So I believe somewhere around January 2026, first quarter.
Awesome. It's been one of the hardest projects to keep track of because different names, just kind of stuff is kind of leaked out and slowly. But once
it's been rolling out like slowly.
Yeah,
and,
I was lucky enough to see a pre-order for the record, and being the vinyl nerd I am, I think there was like 100. I was able to grab one.
We've done a couple of singles. I know that. I know we've done a couple of singles.
Oh, I need to go on Discog.
I haven't literally held in my hand a copy of the vinyl yet.
When we're done, I posted it yesterday on Instagram. I'll send you a note and show you it. Sounds great, looks great.
It's
really,
a cool project. Like, it's cool. It's totally not what I expected when you would think of putting two guys from Typo Negative and two guys from Crowbar in a room together. And it was basically don't come out until you have a song. and I really was expecting it to be something more along the lines of what you would expect.
Mhm.
And it came out completely different in a cool way.
Yeah.
I dig it a lot, and it really caught me by surprise.
Excellent. I'd love to have you guys on the show to talk about it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
that'd be
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great to have us on. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. And Dan, you've been, Hades and nonfiction. I want to mention one project that I love of yours, which is Cassius King. Growing up in the time I did, I was actually a big Dangerous Toys fan, like a huge Dangerous Toys fan. The second concert I ever went to. Well, I know, but I'm admitting this on air. But the second concert I ever went to was the Cult, Dangerous Toys, and Bonham. And I went to go see Dangerous Toys. They were the opener. It was at Nassau Coliseum in probably 1990 or 91, maybe even 89. But I always loved his voice, Jason's voice.
Yeah.
How did you wind up in that? Like, what was that all about? Because that was another project that just kind of showed up on Bandcamp one day. I'm like, what the hell is this? That's Jason McMaster from Dangerous Toys.
Yeah,
what
so
the hell is going on here?
I was doing Vessel of Light, and we had 10 shows, and then COVID hit, and my singer moved from Nathan Opposition, who was in the band Ancient Wisdom. He moved from Cleveland to Austin, and I said, hey, man, we got, COVID's almost stopped. We're going to play the Maryland Doomfest. And previous to this point, I was paying for Nathan's airfare and his hotels and everything. And now I knew he was getting COVID money. So I'm like, fly up to the show and I'll let you keep all the money from the show. He's like, I'm not paying for a flight for music. I'm like, that's interesting because I've been doing it for the last 4 years for you, but all right. So I said, let me contact a different singer from Austin to sing my new songs. And it was Jason McMaster. Always try and find people who are as far away from me as humanly possible, Johnny Kelly in Texas, Nathan Opposition moving there. But so we did one record.
You see the theme?
Yeah.
What's the common denominator there?
Texas.
The great state of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
The great country of Texas.
You sound like you're from Texas, Johnny. You don't sound like you're from Texas.
I'm all in now. I am all in.
Right. Is that where your home base is now, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm outside. I'm a little
Johnny's
north of
a
Dallas.
cowboy practically.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, I got a pickup truck this year. I'm in. I'm in. I have guns. I got a pickup truck. Yeah.
But so we did the one Cassius King record and we had fun with it. And then I immediately wrote another record. We did a second album. And then I wrote another record. And Ron Lipnicki said, Dan, he's like, I can't keep up with this. I'm like, all right. Who else can I call who lives far away? And that's when Johnny entered the picture,
I love those records. Again, records that went under the radar, except for my little crew who, I obviously have it in gold and I have it on cassette. It's ridiculous. My collection is filled with records that people would be like, who the hell is that? And I'm like, try it and you will enjoy it. It's just, it's just not slapping you over the head like something mainstream.
Here's something you probably don't know.
Tell me, please.
Dangerous Toys and Typo did a couple of shows together.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
When was that?
Jason and I, we were talking about it. I was on his podcast not that long ago. We were talking about it. Yeah. I want to say probably somewhere around 94, 95.
Oh, wow.
When we were supporting Bloody Kisses.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we did 2 shows with them. One was in Lincoln, Nebraska. I think they were both. It was like Lincoln and Omaha.
Wow. Damn.
They 2 shows. One was Lincoln. We played a bowling alley.
Oh, yeah. But that was in Omaha.
I think the bowling alley is in Lincoln.
Omaha. Ranch Bowl, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Omaha.
Yeah, we played there. Dangerous Toys and Typo.
Yep.
Wow, that is and I think they were on into their grunge phase by then because after the first 2 records
they had been around for a while at that point.
Yeah, they put out one called, I think, the artist formerly known as, and
Yeah,
it
I
was,
never heard their grunge stuff. I'll go check that out though.
yeah, it was definitely different. They were definitely more Alice in Chains than they were
Oh, really? Wow.
whatever else they were doing prior to that. So, Johnny, I have to ask you a couple other questions.
Mhm.
How was it interacting with Glenn Danzig? I need to know this. I'm a huge Danzig fan. You hear all this shit, good and bad and negative, in the video about some guy punching him in the face at some hardcore show and him being a dick. But then I also hear wonderful
about
things
that.
about him.
I never dispel myths.
You were in Danzig for a while. Like
I was in Danzig for 20 years.
yeah. So either there's like a Stockholm syndrome.
I'm still kind of in Danzig.
Technically, so if Danzig plays a Danzig show right now, Johnny Kelly is going to be the drummer in Danzig.
If I could, yeah. If you know, it's all about the scheduling.
And you are a busy man.
But I'm in touch with Glenn all the time.
That's
You know,
awesome.
like we're in touch all the time. And yeah, as far as myths, I love seeing where they go. So I never I'm like, no, that's not true. He's not like that. No, I never. But you know, it's Glenn Danzig.
Sometimes when I'm feeling blue, I just pick up the picture of Glenn carrying the kitty litter out from a path mark, and it makes me feel better just about life in general. That people
like
are
that
normal
about him.
humans. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm a
you
cat
know,
guy.
Me
he's,
too.
he's a cat. He has cats, and the cat's in cat litter. And,
Yeah.
you can't begrudge the guy. You know, for
Absolutely.
going to get cat litter. You know,
I
what
love
else,
that
What else
picture.
is he going to use?
yeah, exactly. I absolutely love it. And as a drummer, so just going back to those first couple of records, Chuck Biscuit's one of my favorite drummers, like ever. I always
I love his playing. Absolutely.
Amazing.
I'm not like obviously I'm not a musician. I just know that, and I've read about him, like he plays on like a tiny kit, but the sound that he gets out of that, and he was just such a different kind of guy.
He played, from what I understand, he just played on a trap kit, 4-piece kit, you know, single kick. He didn't play double kick. But he had an incredible feel, you know, especially like, you know, when you look at his, I guess his discography, you look at Chuck's discography as from where he came from as like, you know, punk drummer and stuff like that. And to where he wound up doing the kind of playing that he did in Danzig, you know, it's pretty varied. And he was, you know, those records that he played phenomenal. I never got the chance to see Glenn. I never got the chance to see Biscuits perform with Danzig. When Typo toured with Danzig in '94, Danzig was promoting the fourth record. Joey C had just joined the band. Chuck had just joined the band. They had just gotten Joey C in, and they went on tour. And I think Joey's first show with them was like at Irvine Meadows or something like that we did, which was a few weeks before the tour actually started. There was like one of those, I don't know, like K-Rock, like, you know, Halloween shows that they did at Irvine Meadows. And I could be wrong, but I think that was like Joey's first show. And and Joey's a great drummer too. But Biscuits just had like Biscuits has that, like, that Bill Ward swing.
Yeah.
And he was the perfect guy for Glenn's music at the right time.
Yeah. It's, I went down a Chuck Biscuit's rabbit hole one day on the internet, and there's some interesting things there. Just about how, like, his death was faked, whether it's somebody faked it for him.
He's always like, I guess, like the metal tabloids or whatever. He always pops up. He works at Best Buy.
Yeah. It's like, all you got to do is Google him, and hours will pass of what has gone through that. Yeah. It's,
Did you ever see Danzig with Chuck or no?
I wish I had not. I probably saw them with you, Johnny, if I go back on my ticket stubs and check it out, but I never did get to see him with Chuck.
Hades
in New York, we played with Danzig. We did 2 nights at Roseland.
Okay.
On that tour.
That might have been there. Everything is a little fuzzy back to those years. What were you saying, Dan? You
I saw them at the Ritz, and Hades opened up for them at the Empire Rock Club in Philadelphia.
Oh wow! Back at like what
first album? Yeah, 1989. Must have been like either, or maybe it was the summer of '88 actually. Yeah, that's probably right.
Unfortunately, like Glenn is very protective, and there isn't a lot of stuff on like YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
So there isn't too much stuff out there of like the band with Chuck.
Mm.
To see it, like to see like live footage and stuff. There really isn't much of it out there.
Mm.
And but the stuff that I was able to see, it was great. That band was on fire.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Great band.
It was lightning in a bottle for sure. I'm friends with John Christ. I'm friends with Erie and stuff, and like I talk to them from time to time, but like that band, those guys together, there was definitely something special there. And like I always try to have respect for that when I was playing with Glenn. I
think when I finally realized that I was old and shouldn't go anywhere near a pit was when Danzig played a set and then they played a Misfit set at Riot Fest in Chicago. And when the Misfit set started, I just looked around. I'm like, I'm gonna die. Like I'm too old for this shit. Like I'm gonna either have a heart attack or
was that
I'm gonna
when
get
we
trampled.
played with? Was that when we played with Guar?
Yes, it was that day. And
Joan Jett.
And there were a few other really big acts that played that day too, and it's all Suicidal Tendencies I think played that day, or that time, and it was
that weekend.
It was just pure insanity. But that's when I realized I'm kind of a side stager, back guy now at this point.
That was fun. We did that for a few years where Doyle was touring with us, and Doyle would come out like in the middle of the show, and we do like maybe like a 25 minutes, half hour of Misfit songs, and then we go back.
All 6'10" of him, it looked like. Looks like a gigantic man. Not even sure if his bass is plugged in, but he's running around like a crazy man. Awesome. So what do we have, given the volume of what Patriarchs in Black has done so far and the success and the feedback of the records? Is there another record in the can? I mean, at this point, there has to be, given the volume that you've done over the last 3 years. But what are we looking at, Dan? You're a riff machine at this point. So is that you still chugging them out?
So the record label and the world told me that they don't need a new Patriarchs in Black album every year and to slow down. So we handed in the record in February. I stopped playing guitar. I purposely stopped trying to write songs, and now I got myself a little writer's block. So there's only 2 brand new songs that I recorded in the last couple months, but we also have a song, that song that Frankie Diaz, the old African-American gentleman, sings about enough of you. We had a 12-bar blues song that I wrote with harmonica and everything that Frankie sings called I'm Coming Home, that didn't make the record. And I was really bummed it didn't make the record because I just listened to it the other day and I really like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Patriarchs in Black, Covered in Black EP, CD, make it into vinyl, add some songs. And I would like to, and the record label wants to add that one song, one original song. But also right now, one of my favorite singers who I only got in contact with a couple months ago, I've been looking for him for 25, 30 years, is Daniel Soren from 60 Watt Shaman.
Love that. Great band.
I love that guy's voice, and we're writing a song right now with him as well.
Excellent. I think he just put out an EP, and Turbo, my co-host who couldn't make it tonight, is going to kill me for not remembering the name of the band. But I think they just did an EP with him singing on it. I have to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Really, really good stuff. I can't wait to hear that. That's going to be awesome. Johnny, back to you. Question. So again, as a typo freak, people got us all worked up over this band that was coming out, and it had the Bensonhurst lesbian choir singing background vocals and all of this stuff. Right. Lots of odes to typo, and then it was not typo. It was
Johnny has left the building.
That was that guy, right?
Yeah, I believe he's from Spirited Drift, right? The band was Neon Nightmare.
Yes, I heard it. Yeah.
Okay, it created a serious rift amongst typo fans because they're like, I mean, it was it was uncanny how close it was to sounding. Even using some of the things that you used to do, the jokes you used to do on the album cover and stuff like that.
The stuff that I heard, it was very derivative. Isn't even a good word for it.
No, it was. You want to say ripoff, but I don't think they didn't do it with the intention of trying to put it off anything other than loving Typo Negative. So I didn't know if you actually heard that record or if you had any.
Yeah, I heard it. At first, I was another friend of mine, a journalist. She had reached out to me and she was like, "I'm interviewing them." I was like, "It's a real person."
Yeah.
And like when I first heard it, I thought maybe it was like one of our friends, somebody we knew that was like, like goofing on us or whatever. And then I thought it might have been AI, like somebody did some kind of like AI thing with it. But come to find out, it's an actual person, and they got pretty close in a lot of aspects.
They're called Lost Silver. They're called Neon Nightmare. They're on $20 spin. And I want to say it's the guy from Spirit Adrift who did it. The metal band Spirit Adrift, who's just a super Typo fan. But again, like, this is why the internet is both awesome and awful, because they dropped a song called Lost Silver. And they're like, "Oh, Josh Silver's back. He's doing more stuff. It's got to be him. It's called Lost Silver. It's like, no longer an EMT. He's now back and playing music." And like the Typo Negative fans, heads explode. And
definitely not Josh. Definitely not him.
Do you stay in touch with? I know you stay in touch with Kenny.
Yeah, of course. But, yeah. We stay in touch. Even though the band isn't active, it's active in other ways. So there's always something going on, with the band, something like, like merchandise or reissues or, things like that, doing different, various things with the catalog. And so there's always some kind of contact.
Yeah.
Like I sent him a text the other night. I sent it to him and Kenny. I found some guy on Instagram that broke down all the harmonies for Because from the Beatles.
Wow.
And I was so blown away and impressed by it. I was like, oh shit. I was like, you guys got to check this out.
Well, that's cool. I feel like, Typo is one of those bands that they were, you were big when it was out, but I feel like there's a legacy there that has grown and maybe grown even bigger than what you guys were at your peak.
It seems to have grown bigger than what it was when we were active, for sure.
Yeah,
like it seems like there's a whole like new generation of people that are discovering the band. Like I was just recently, right? For instance, I've been saying this story a lot. My daughter's 24 years old, and I was telling her recently. I said, I'm getting a lot of followers on Instagram lately, and I was like, it's like they're kids, like literally like teenagers, like 16, 17 years old. Like, you see the thing, like, high school, like, whatever, class of 2029 or, on their ID or whatever. And I was like, I don't know where these people are, like, how they're finding me, or like, like, why are they finding it? And she was like, Dad, it's like, I've been telling you forever. It's like TikTok. She's telling me, she's like, you guys are viral on TikTok, so there's like a lot of, for instance, there's, like people put like clips together on TikTok or whatever, and they'll use like, I Don't Want to Be Me as the music behind it.
Wow.
And, our manager, we have a manager, and, our manager sent us a screenshot just over the weekend of our like Spotify top, whatever. And I Don't Want to Be Me has like more than 1 million plays than Black Number One or Love You to Death.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's by far our most popular song on streaming services.
Wow. TikTok. That's what I think they did for Ghost too. I think Ghost had like a viral video for their song Mary on a Cross, which is like on a 7-inch single, and had like 5 billion views or some shit like that.
But the videos that they'll use the song for have nothing to do with music. Like, it's just background music for like, whatever, somebody's like, whatever, playing with
some goth girl doing her makeup or something. Right. Yeah.
So Rich, you got to do a TikTok video for Patriarchs in Black.
I do.
Oh, really?
Step one, get a TikTok account. That would be step one.
That's
that doesn't exist.
Non-negotiable, I guess.
That's a popular song for us, and I've seen a bunch of videos with. We did a version for the wrestler Kane's theme, and the song was supposed to be on a WWE record, back in like 2003 or whatever it was, 2002, and we got kicked off the project because the guy that was putting it together, the guy that actually he loved Typo, he got fired, and then some other guy was taking over the project, and he didn't like Typo, so he's like, we're not using the song, take a walk. And so years later on the reissue of Life Is Killing Me, we put the song on there, and that song gets used. I've seen that in a bunch of videos that have nothing to do with Typo Negative, or it'd be like some like influencer putting on makeup, or like something so like funny. That. And I'll hear like the melody line. I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, that's us.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And, but anyway, so like these things, like have like I'd imagine they contributed to like these younger people discovering the band.
Yeah. There are certain bands I think from that era, and Dan, I seem like a huge music guy and understand kind of what happened before, but like I hear so much Typo and Alice in Chains and ZZ Top in so much music these days. Like for me, those are three of the bands that have influenced a lot of, especially what we listen to in like the stoner doom, heavy psych, heavy blues rock kind of side of it. What other bands would you call out as someone who's been around in the scene and hear what happened back then and what you hear today? Any bands that you would call out?
I'll tell you, it always makes me laugh, Rich, when people give a review to Patriarchs in Black and they'll be like, oh, this is probably influenced by, and they name all these bands that I've heard of their names, but I never heard them. And Johnny had a quote before the first record that all roads lead to Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's what it's from. It's like, it's so weird. Like people are like, oh yeah, so Dan is probably into the Obsessed or whatever. And nothing against the Obsessed. I know I don't know any of those other bands. So I'm not really good. I tell you, I was telling my Spotify playlist is stupid, Rich. It's like 90% hip hop, and then there's Led Zeppelin and Slayer, and so I don't know a lot of the underground bands. I did happen to know one song by 60 Watt Shaman, years ago that I fell in love with, and I'll never forget the vocal performance.
Love it.
That's why I've been looking for him, but I'm not a good guy to ask that question to, because like I'll go with what Johnny said originally, all roads lead to Black Sabbath. I'm wearing a Godflesh shirt. That, we don't sound like I love them, love their couple albums anyway, a couple songs particularly, but I don't have a lot of knowledge of the stoner scene, honestly.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because you are very influential in the stoner scene, and you have that Cassius King record that is that's out there and there. So you're definitely a known entity, even if you might not know some of the bands that are doing it today. And their bands know you, that's for sure. Both of you guys.
Check out Vessel of Light, because that was a better band. I thought Vessel of Light was the shit, really.
I watched the video and I said you had a lot of potential going there. There was definitely your singer kind of had an Alice in Chains kind of grungy vocal thing going on there. It's a shame that didn't take off. But I mean, what you do have is Patriarchs, and it's friggin' awesome.
Thank you. And I told this the last interview I did just before we got on here. This is so much fun for me now. They asked me if I'd ever go back to a regular band with one singer, and it's like, I can't now. It's like, we have 10 different, it's so much fun having all these different singers. It's really, really fun for me.
It's awesome. And Johnny, I don't want to say that you're a drummer for hire, but you definitely have a lot of projects.
I can be.
What's your price?
But you definitely are busy. That's for sure. We see you in a bunch of stuff. I know you have Sun Don't Shine. What are some of the other things, or anything else that you're working on that you want to mention? Mention?
There's a bunch of stuff. I mean, we did another Silvertomb record that's awesome. Being mixed now, and that eventually will get released at some point. Actually, believe it or not, the thing that takes up most of my time is playing in Quiet Riot.
Oh wow, yeah. How's that?
It's a blast. It's a lot of fun, yeah. And it's we usually just play on the weekends. So it's usually like, fly out Thursday, home Saturday or Sunday, like we usually play like on like Fridays or Saturday nights, and that's it. And then a couple of weeks ago, we did a show. It was pretty weird. We played on a Tuesday, which is very rare, and played at Sturgis.
Okay. Well, I was going to say people go on Tuesday, but I'm sure people came at Sturgis on Tuesday. Yeah.
And
nice mellow
yeah,
crowd.
usually, but it does takes up a lot of time in the sense that like it's hard to commit to something where it's like where I could go on tour, or, things like that. It doesn't really allow for that. But it does take up a lot of time. Like there's definitely it's a few days out of the week. It's my work week, and go out, play like casinos and stuff like that, and it's a lot of fun. It is. I just got home yesterday. Wasn't fun. I had like a nightmare travel day, but
Rich, his travel schedule, I don't know how anybody does it, and he'll tell me I went to bed at 1 o'clock. I'm like, you texted me at 7 o'clock New Jersey time. That means you're already awake at 6 o'clock. Like it's
as
really...
I've gotten older, my body doesn't really require a lot of sleep.
Amazing.
I mean, I would love to sleep more. I don't set an alarm. Like today, I didn't set an alarm. I was up at 6:30.
Do you have to go in and out of the Dallas airport?
Yeah, I fly in and out of Dallas.
I used to have to travel a lot for work, and thank goodness my role doesn't require it now. But inevitably, the two places I got stuck, and you could probably guess what I'm going to say, but it's Dallas
O'Hare
and Newark.
Oh,
Newark.
Okay.
Newark has gotten better. They had that issue with the runway recently. They were repaving the runway.
I flew to Newark once. I had never flown to Asia. I got through everything. I landed in like Taiwan, went through all the no issues. Get to Newark, and I almost get into a fist fight with the guy working on the line. And then O'Hare, you mentioned
Spirit.
No, I might as well have been. I got to O'Hare. You mentioned O'Hare. I don't fly well. I'm sitting on the waiting 3 hours. Thunderstorms. We're just sitting there, and the pilot goes, "Okay, we're gonna let the plane ahead of us go, and we're gonna see how it goes." And I'm like, "See how it goes? Like, what if I'm on the see how it goes plane?" So yeah, I'm happy to not have to travel, but that's very cool that you're enjoying it still, that you're getting out on the road. And
yeah, it's fun in the sense, I play every night. I play more now than I think I did, throughout, the most of my career. And usually at some point, if I'm not playing shows with Quiet Riot, I'm in the studio here and stuff. I took today off.
Do you get noticed? Do people know? Do the Quiet Riot fans know Typo Negative?
Some of them do. Yeah, we play every night. We play a little piece of Black Number One.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
And we can gauge the audience's response if after we finish that. We can tell if it's some people are familiar with it. Some nights they don't. But most of the time, there's a few people that are aware of it. People know me, like they know that I'm playing in Quiet Riot now, and I hear people, hey Johnny, whatever, asking for an autograph or take a picture or something.
Very cool. Did the motorcycle guys know? Did they recognize? Did you get a feel that they do?
No, I don't think that was. Typo really wasn't the the Sturgis crowd.
Yeah,
they're more into actually Quiet Riot's play. I think we played there 4 out of the 5 years I've been in the band.
Oh wow, yeah. I was going to say you guys Typo Negative was not Circus of Power. Typo Negative was Typo Negative.
Yeah, Typo really didn't hit the mark with the motorcycle crowd.
Yeah. Guys, I told you 30 minutes. It's been almost an hour. Thank you. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Dan, thank you for responding and coming to talk to me about Patriarchs In Black. The new record is called Home, the 4th record in about 3 years. It's they're all great. Go check them all out. Johnny's in Sun Don't Shine right now with Kenny from Typo and with guys from Crowbar. That EP is amazing on Corpse Paint record. I just like saying Corpse Paint record. I could talk to you guys all night, but if you please come back, Johnny, come back, and if you can get
absolutely,
talk to the guys
I'd love to
from
come back. Thank you.
Sun Don't Shine, that'd be great. And Dan, I I think we have a mutual friend. Do you know Jay from the band Holy Roller? You might not. You might not know him.
I'm not
All
sure.
right. We'll talk. We'll talk more about it because I'm actually starting a 90s show that we're going to do a podcast about too that I'd love to
Awesome.
talk to you about nonfiction about. So,
Awesome.
guys,
Sounds good.
this has
All right,
been
Rick.
amazing. And Johnny, thank you. Dan, thank you. Appreciate your time. Everybody go listen to Patriarchs in Black. You'll love it. And everybody else on all their other projects. And have a wonderful evening. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
guys.
dude. I'll see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.